Hello, we're back on Farming Simulator 25, and today we're going to talk about buffalo. Buffalo. There's some videos out there that started when the game first came out, or even before the game first came out, before they had to update, and there's some erroneous information. So stand by. I'm going to kind of correct some of that. So this is a cow barn. Let me just show you on the menu. If you were going to purchase cows, you'd go to construction and over here to animals. Okay, you can see them over here. Now, the very smallest one you can get is $15,000. That's this little tiny thing. It's a pasture. Pastures, you have to add water. But also, if you look at the fine print there, this is a breeding pasture. The whole purpose of getting buffalo in Farming Simulator 25 is to produce milk, because you can sell that, or you can use production, turn into butter and cheese. That's where your money is. So you wouldn't want a breeding pasture for buffalo. Okay. You wouldn't want this cow barn either, because that's a breeding cow barn. This one is also a breeding cow barn. So the smallest one you can get for dairy is going to be this guy. $254,000, holds 50 cows. It's actually going to hold 55 for some reason, somewhat of a little glitch there. Okay, then they have one for twice that, and it holds about twice that at 96. And then there's one for 722, holds 93, but it has a feeding robot, and that's a whole other animal. We'll look at that in another video, but we're going to take this puppy and put it in here just to kind of show you. Okay, now there's some things in Farming Simulator 25 about the pasture. Okay, if you want pasture, what you got to do is go ahead and plant grass ahead of time, unlike what the instructions say. So, but for dairy cattle, it really doesn't matter. So what I'm going to do you want to customize the fence? I'm going to say no for dairy. And I'm not going to plant meadow because I've already planted real grass there. I'm going to say no there also. All right, let's run over there. Look at our new barn. And there you go. And notice it holds 55, even though it said 50. I'm not sure why. A little bit of a glitch, I guess, but that's okay. Now, there's two ways to get animals here. You're going to go here, okay, and on console, you hit the left joystick, and you're going to see that. If you hit the RB button, you're going to be down to this, and you don't have any animals yet. So you're going to buy these. Now, buffalo are all the way at the bottom, okay, under cows, water buffalo. And you can have baby ones. You can have, adolescents, 6 months old, 18 months. I recommend you get them grown and fill it up. Okay, or at least, because you're going to make, until you do that, it's hard to make any money from it. And because you're getting your money from the milk. Different than if you're just growing cows to sell. Those are different. That's a whole nother different thing. So these, you're buying it for the milk. So what we're going to do, we're going to fill this up. Okay, 55 cows. Now notice, it's going to cost me $5,500 in a transfer fee. If you happen to have a truck and stuff, if you're breeding cows already and you have that, you can save that $5,500, but it's not worth buying it or even leasing it to save it on one time. Now, if you're in the breeding business, eventually you want to buy that because you're doing that often. Okay, but as dairy, we're not in the breeding business. We're just going to have buffalo to get the milk from. So I'm going to buy that for 70 grand, and I just filled my barn up. Okay, so I paid $254,000. It's full of cows. Okay, now we have to feed them. All right, let's look at this again. If you look at the cows there, okay, look at the food where it says food. Okay, it says total mixed ration. Total mixed ration is going to give you 100% productivity. Hay or silage. Now, out of those two, I would do hay because that's cheaper than silage. So you can start if you want and just do hay until they get going, but you're only going to get 80% productivity. Now your productivity number up there is going to say 100% if you feed them hay. But if you measure how much milk you're getting, it's only going to be 80% of what you would get under TMR. Okay, here's some numbers for you. If you feed these buffalo TMR, you're going to get 27 liters per day / month per cow of milk. Okay, 27 liters. And you're going to get 80% of that. I think it's 21 and change that you're going to get if you feed them hay. Okay, so it is a difference. I did check it. Now, how much does it take to feed them? You're going to be giving them 350 liters of TMR per buffalo per day / month. 350 liters of TMR per buffalo per day. So you can kind of figure that out based on how many you have. So if you multiply 55 by 350, you're going to get how much food or TMR we got to put in there every day. I'll have another video on how to do TMR. That's not in this video, but it's a whole nother lesson there. Okay, to look at this pen, this is already established, and I fed them, and well, maybe a couple of days ago, I already got slurry in there. It has meadow grass. Now, the reason you don't want to do meadow grass for buffalo is because it's only 40%, and they're just going to eat that up, and you don't want to be at 40%. You can't make any money. So you're going to at least do hay while you're getting started. And then once you can make TMR, you want to do TMR. So your first thing, if you have a grass field, you cut grass, ted it, turn it into hay, and you can feed them and get this rolling until you have the equipment to do TMR. And you'll still get milk from that. You're just going to get 80% of what you could get. Okay, well, let's go ahead and feed these guys. Now, the difference in animal pens in Farming Simulator 25 is like Farming Simulator 22. The barns have an automatic water source. Okay, the barns have an automatic water source. The pens, which is really just a fence and a feeding area, do not. You have to give those water. Okay, for buffalo, we're not fooling with a pen because it doesn't let you do dairy, and we want to do dairy. Okay, so it's going to do water automatically, and it charges you for that. Okay, so you look at our new cow or a buffalo barn there, and we have put some total mixed ration in there. Okay, and I'm going to top that off too. But before I do that, I'm going to add some straw. Now, you don't have to have straw. They'll still grow and make milk. Okay, so you do not need straw. However, if you want to get manure, you got to have straw. Now, something else if you want manure, let me show you. If I leave it like it is, I won't need straw. So when you're starting out, you can just do the barn, fill it up with cows, put hay in there, and you're producing milk. Okay. Later, when you get the money for another $25,000, you can add a manure reservoir. Okay. It's a silo extension. Let me show you on the menu. You go to construction at the top there, over to, you got silos, you got silo extensions. Be sure it's an extension. And right here, you have this little manure reservoir. Okay, so if I put that in there, then it's going to let me collect manure. But in order to do that, I have to add straw. So we're going to add some straw. Okay, I got a partial load of straw here. I'm going to put that in there, and that will start them producing manure. By the way, like I said, on the barn, you do not need to add water. Okay, it's just going to charge you for that. Does it automatically. It's assuming if you have a structure that big, it's going to have plumbing, and it does. It's going to cost you about $770 a month in water, but there's no other way to do that. So for dairy buffalo, so that's what you're going to do. Okay, I topped off the TMR. We've added straw. Let's look at our stats here. So it's all the way over with food. I have TMR all the way maxed out, and we have straw almost maxed out, and the productivity is starting to go up. So what we're going to do is, and we got a little bit of milk already. We're going to go ahead to tomorrow, and I'll show you what it looks like. All right, now something cool about Farming Simulator 25, see our container there, it had, before I went to sleep, it had a lot of TMR in there left. But what it does in Farming Simulator 25, if you're hooked to the tractor and it's sitting at the feed place, it will automatically keep dumping that in there as it needs it. So it dumped that in there until it was empty. So we're almost full again the next day. Okay, look at, after 24 hours there, we got 1,120 liters of buffalo milk. Now, they weren't quite to productivity, so it'll be higher tomorrow. Our straw's going down. And look, we have some slurry. We're going to go ahead to tomorrow, and then I'll show you what to do with those extra products. And we probably have a little bit of manure. Let's go take a look. Look at that. We got 13,000 liters of manure. So let's go to tomorrow and I'll show you some other stuff. All right, I went ahead 2 more days. I fed them and then went to another day. So we're now in August. Let me just show you what we have here. So we have 4,420 in buffalo milk. Our straw's dwindling. We have quite a bit of slurry there. And we have some manure, 47,000. What you want to do, this thing here is a slurry transport tank. You can either use the slurry for fertilizer, okay, or you can sell it outright. I usually just sell it. It's just easier. So you get a tank like this. So let me show you on the menu. Okay, and you got slurry tankers. These are if you want to spray for fertilizer, or you got slurry transport. Okay, and that's the one I have there. It holds 21,000 and it costs 52,000. So what you do then is you go and sell that, and that's what we're going to do. Now, there were some videos out before that said if you're making manure, putting straw in there and making manure, you're not going to have slurry, and that's not true. That might have been a glitch before the update, but you will have both slurry and manure. You're going to get slurry anyway. Okay, you just put your basic barn there without the manure reservoir and without giving them straw, you're going to get slurry. And slurry is worth money. In fact, you're going to get, listen carefully, 250 liters per day per cow. Okay, 250 liters per cow per day / month. Okay, this is on Riverbend Springs, by the way, so I'm going to go sell this. Now you can look under the prices and see where the best price is to sell it, and it gives you the options of where to sell. Okay, here's one of the sell points. If you go to prices, you can highlight where you want to sell it, and it will show it on the map. So, okay, we got $1,774. And you'll get more for that around January than you do right now. And you can check the prices, and it shows you the fluctuations in there. Here's slurry. Okay, we're at the bottom right now. So normally what I would do is wait until maybe January to sell that. I'm just showing you now, but you'll get a lot more money, and you can see that from that demonstration there. All right, the other thing to sell is manure. You can also use that for fertilizer. Let me just show you something on the menu here. When you go to settings over here, and you go down here near the bottom, okay, AI workers. And what you can do where it says slurry or manure, you could set that to get it from your manure heap or buy it. Or same thing with your slurry. I could get that from my cow barn. And I could name them, you know, cow barn 1, cow barn 2. There's actually 2 in there, but they're named the same. So if you had a different names, you would see manure heap 1, manure heap 2. All right, so if you had a manure spreader or a slurry spreader, then you would go here and set it to that. And it's going to pull that from your pen. And that's pretty cool. If you just want to sell it, you can pull up here. You can scoop it out if you want to be hard about it, but you can just come up here and load your trailer with manure. You can see the manure pile going down. It's going into my trailer. And where we sold the slurry just before that is a spot to sell manure. And there's another one too on the map or two. You look under prices. Hey, there's a couple of different places you can sell it there. Closest one for me is right down the road, and the price is real close. So that's what I'm going to do for this demonstration. Okay, we're at the manure selling spot right here, and I'm going to sell this, and we'll get a little cash for that. It's not a whole lot of money. It's not like you're selling something very expensive, you know, like soybeans or something, or cotton, but it adds up. Now you're going to get, this is important, you're going to get 350 liters of manure per buffalo per day / month. 350 liters of manure per buffalo per day / month. Okay, now the reason we have buffalo, the reason we're growing these things and going to all this trouble is so we can get the milk and sell the milk and or turn that into production butter and cheese. Okay, I have 4,500 liters of milk and change. We're going to go sell that and see what we get. Okay, we're at the sell point. Let's see what we get. All right, there you go. We got $45,000 for that milk. So you can see that milk can be very, very profitable. Very, very profitable. And if you turn it into production, it's even more. All right, while he's coming back, let me show you a few things about production. Okay, if you go to the construction menu and go down to productions, okay, you're going to see some things that are related. What you're looking for is a dairy. Okay, there's one for $210,000. There's a different looking one for $210,000. And then there's this tiny one for $36,000. Okay, now let me show you that. I have two of them here. Now these are very, very small. Okay, very, very small. And this will only use 98 liters per day / month. So in other words, about 4 cows worth or buffaloes worth. So we're getting 27 liters per buffalo per day. 4 of them will fill this up. Okay, and I have 55, so I have 2 of these running. Now they're still worth some money. For each one of these you put in there, you're getting about $1,500 on the easy mode per month. So I'm getting a shade over $3,000 here for these 2, and it takes very little milk. Okay, so if you want a little bit of, it's not really passive income, you got to put milk in it. But for each one of these, you get about $1,500 a month. So when you look at that, that's $18,000 a year you're going to get. It costs $36,000. So in 2 years, you've paid for it. That's a pretty good return on investment. Okay, return on investment. Anytime you can get half your money back in 1 year, that's a 50% return on investment. That's tremendous. Most businesses are like 15%. So that's really actually a good return, but you need a few of these to make any money. Now, if you had 210,000, you could buy the bigger dairy, and that'll keep you going. That'll give you a lot of money per month. Okay, but until then, you can put a couple of these. You can always sell them later once they're empty. Okay, so just to recap, when you put a buffalo pen in, your interest is in dairy, not reproducing them. So it doesn't matter if you have the grass over here or not, or the bigger pen, because you're not doing that. If you get this pen, you're going to have 55 buffalo that make milk, and that's what you want. If you get smaller than that and you're trying to grow them, you're spending a lot of money until that point where you can have milk. So it's not really cost effective. I tried that too, and you're going in the hole every month for a while. Now, if you're growing them, that's a little different. Once again, all the barns are going to produce silage. All the barns are going to produce silage. Okay, and you got dairy buffalo in there, so it's going to produce milk on the other side. And then if you add straw in here for bedding and put the manure reservoir over there, it's also going to produce manure. 350 liters of manure per day per cow, 250 liters of silage per day per cow. And you can do the math on that based on what economic mode you're on. You're going to get money for that back. Once again, you want to feed them TMR, because TMR is going to give you 25% more, because you were at 80 or producing 25% more milk feeding them TMR than you would with just hay or silage. So TMR is good, but you can start with hay. And that'll get you going until you have the money for the equipment to make silage. I'll have a video either before or right after this about making silage. It'll be coming out here real quick. Or I'm sorry, TMR, making TMR. And that's pretty much it. That's how you do buffalo. Now, you do have those other larger barns, but you can make some money from this. You can see from that little bit of milk we turned in. Okay, under animals, there's some things here, like some mixers to make TMR. And you need this to carry your milk. There's a bigger one there. And then I have a mod in there too. This one works. It's only 10 grand. It's a modded one. So there's some options as far as carrying your milk. And that's buffalo in a nutshell. So give us a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. And I'll see you next time. I'm Farmer Teacher. Share this with your farming buddies. Bye-bye.